Hello cats and kittens, Rushdown coming with another Rushy rant. This time I just want to talk briefly about independent game studios and what you can do to actually help them out. There are a lot of really good independent game companies out there. They produce extremely good games and do so because they have a story to tell or a passion for what they want to do. Developers like Humble Hearts, The Chinese Room, Mojang, Half Brick Studios, The Behemoth, Artix Entertainment, Simutronics, these, just to name a few that I can actually think just off the top of my head, these developers had something to do. They had something they wanted to show. They had a story. They had a game idea. They had a dream. And they sat down and they decided, we're going to try and make this work. Not necessarily because we want money. Don't get me wrong, that's probably a part of it. It's a job after all. It's what they wanted to do for the rest of their life, and, well, you need money to live. But a lot of them had jobs as well as they were making the games. These people went out of their way, spent money of their own pocket to sit down and try and develop a game for people to enjoy. The game market is a tough thing to crack into. I myself, speaking from what I know of, not necessarily video games, I haven't really put my hand in that, but I've actually created board games, RPGs, card games, and that itself is actually really difficult to crack into. And I can only imagine, with how full the gaming market is, how difficult it is now. And things like the App Store, those app stores for like Android or iTunes, like the app centers there. Heck, there's a lot of online sites like Newgrounds and stuff like that really give these indie games a chance to grow. However, it is a double-edged sword. For every amazingly great designed game that you can find on these sites, you find about 100 Flappy Bird clones, or someone trying to steal your idea and putting their thing over top of it, just trying to make a quick buck. And so this is why I truly say that these indie developers truly do need our help. I said in my last video, don't get suckered in and pay copious amounts of dollars for content that isn't quality. While I still stand behind that, I also stand behind the one statement I do say, if you find something of quality and it was brought to you at a reduced price, or in a lot of these cases, free, when you can show your support to them, that you are going to give them a little bit of your money. They can run a little bit on ad revenue, this is true. However, that being said, there are certain game companies out there that do need that little financial help. Now, I know this is kind of ironic, as I am talking to you with clearly the Bandicam system floating over top of my head, and the light version of the game that I am currently sampling. I actually am doing this for two reasons. One, I'm actually in the process of seeing if this thing actually will work. I have a very old computer, which I need to upgrade soon, and I want to try and use one that will actually work with my system, to be honest. The second one, this developer here, who actually created this, Greenheart Games, actually released a light version of the game for people to try. And I have to say, after playing the light version and trying out different ways and the different mechanics on how it works, it's actually piqued my interest, and I probably will be buying a full version of it. Now, I have to say, I remember reading about this a few years ago. I never actually really downloaded it and tried it out, but I've been kind of tinkering around with it now. And I do love the story that kind of comes along with this. They knew that, unfortunately, piracy is a real thing. People will always try and get something for free if they can. This is not something we can easily stop, especially in the digital age. So their little experiment was that they released a light version, and they actually released a pirated version online. Now, the pirated version was identical in every single way to the actual full game. However, if the person tried playing past a certain point, I think it was around the PlayStation era, they'd start losing profits due to piracy. until eventually the game would become unplayable, as no matter how much money you made or how good the games were that you were making, too many people were pirating their games. It was meant to serve as a lesson to the people who would eventually download and pirate the games that you are destroying the industry. Ironically enough, a lot of them kind of came out and said, we don't know on the forums, we don't understand how to get past this pirates. Is there any kind of protection? Which to me is kind of funny when you think about it, that a bunch of people who pirated the game were complaining that pirates were ruining their games they were trying to release. All in all, I would highly recommend checking out this game if you like simulation. Now, this is not a game for everybody, clearly, but if you are into those games, this is something to check out. Getting back to on point, there are a lot of stories about people who have started on small little garages and moved their way into big studios. ID Software is a perfect example. Here is a story of 4 to 5 individuals who started off as an offshoot of, I believe it was Papaji, who started off making games for them for their little weekly releases, and they had an idea and started working with it, and they created all sorts of fun little games, eventually leading up to probably 2 of their most well-known games, Wolfenstein 3D and eventually Doom. These games weren't made necessarily for the idea of money. While yes, they really enjoyed the riches thereof that came off of that, it was about technical ability. Can we do this, and how can we push the limits? There's a really interesting book out there called Masters of Doom. I highly recommend reading. It actually talks about the trials and tribulations that the company did and does not sugarcoat anything. The good and all of the bad is listed there, and I highly recommend it as a read. My point is, in my earlier video, I may have sounded like I was crapping on indie developers. I'm not. I'm crapping on the leeches that hop onto the hard-working indie developers and just reskin stuff in hopes to make a quick buck. For every successful whale out there, there's always the leeches on the side, eating whatever can possibly drip off. And these are the people we have to not support. All you're doing is making people want to actually hop on and continue doing this leeching project. If you don't believe me, I want you just to go to Google Store and type in Flappy Bird. You will see the clones. You can type in Fruit Ninjas. You will see all the clones. Temple Run. Oh man, I love me some Temple Run style games, but I gotta tell you, there is too many for me to count. And this is the major problem. It's oversaturation. One good idea gets expanded, and then just taken all apart, and everyone's trying to make a quick thing. There are some games, even on there, that are dangerous. They actually carry viruses and can destroy the stuff, which actually, unfortunately, reflects badly on the original, just by association. Some people might argue that it makes you look more fondly on the original one. However, I have actually found this to be the opposite based on what my friends say. All I'm trying to say right now is that these indie developers do need our help. You really get sick and tired of certain game companies, I'm not naming names, releasing unfinished, glitchy as hell games with on-disc DLC that you're forced to pay $70 for the game, then pay another $40 to unlock all the content before you even download stuff, plus $30 season passes for content that does nothing but reskins. Then don't support them. Say enough. I mean, they're only going to make it so long as you buy it. If you keep buying it, they're going to keep making it. Buy the game, play it. If there's something on there that you really, really want that actually adds something to it, then do it. Hyrule Warriors was a great example of properly done DLC. It had some reskins of stuff that you could do. It had some amazing secondary ideas for entire maps of content, new weapons, new content, new trials, new maps. It was a true DLC. It wasn't just a content add-on and a bonus character. It was bonus add-on, bonus characters, reskins, new game modes, new challenges, opens it up all in for an amazing way of doing DLC. And if you want to see DLC done right, check that out. Anyways, I hope you all have a great night. Rushy Down, signing out.